Gear Patrol calls their new dive watch the best sub-$500 dive watch. Full stop. Men's Health rated them as the most stylish solar watch in the game. Who are we talking about? It's Movement. They're leveling up your gift giving with the sleekest watches you can buy and the biggest deals of the season. Shop 30 to 50% off Movement's innovative California clean watches, jewelry, and accessories with fast free shipping and returns now at mvmt.com. That's mvmt.com.
Welcome back to the Potted Together podcast. I'm Becca, and I'm joined by my wonderful, amazing co-hosts, Adam and Nicole.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, folks.
Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh, are we happy or stressed to be back recording?
I don't know. I mean, I'm happy, but I don't have anything really going on. You guys are friggin' busy.
No, I forgot that it was Thursday because I didn't work on Monday. So, like, when Nicole was like, hey, hop on the FaceTime when you can, I was like, oh, shit, it's Thursday.
Becca was out mowing her lawn.
Yeah, I was literally weed whacking my sidewalk, which is the last step of the process, so it's fine. And I did happen to run out of weed whacking string right after we got off the phone. She calls me and says, hey, what you doing? You gonna come to work? I was like, oh.
She's like,
shoot.
Oh, shoot, it's 11. I was like, well, it's 11:30, but yeah.
I clocked in 30 minutes late. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got a little carried away. But, okay, today we are going to see where the wind takes us. We're just going to chat about our plans because we don't have a specific topic, but there's lots of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So we're just going to chat and see what happens.
Yeah.
So that's what the episode's about.
Yeah.
So we got to hear a life update.
Oh, man.
Adam, I would love to hear about your most recent trip.
Me too.
Yeah. I'll give a quick little thing. But yeah, we went on another cruise, which was a Carnival cruise. And it was different vibes than all the other ones we went on. It was a full-on party vibe.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, everyone was just, and it was the ship was like almost at capacity, which I felt a little spoiled that the first two cruises were like half capacity, because of the times. But now that's like out the window. So like there were long lines. It was frustrating, but it was still a good vacation nonetheless.
So if you could rank your 3 cruises that you've had over the past, 7-8 months?
Yeah.
What would you say was your favorite? The first one?
Well, I mean, they're all they're favorites for different reasons. Like the first one was a favorite because it was like chill. Princess was really chill, and the customer service was amazing. Like we made friends. It was great.
Yeah.
Royal Caribbean was huge, and so there was always something to do. The service was in the middle, and then Carnival was just like a big party, which was fun in and of itself.
Yeah.
And then the service was probably pretty low on that one. Like didn't really make friends with like the staff, not all of them. So I don't know. They're just like it just depends on the vibe you want for your vacation, I guess.
Right.
But I don't know. The first one was great. It was just very relaxing, very chill, like not too many bells and whistles. I don't know.
Your patio though on this last one, like your deck, the outside, was incredible.
I loved it. And then Steve and I took that really good photo, and it was like the first photo of the trip. And then I was like, we should not have taken a good photo on the first day because everything else is going to pale in comparison. And it's so hard, like taking self-portraits with like a tripod and like the self-timer and running back and forth. Like I just, oof.
On a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You posted that on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys looked so good.
It was like
a
band cover.
Definitely.
Yeah. I love it. You guys have such good photos of each other, like You guys just look so cute. I was looking through the Instagram the other day because you posted this one with you're like wearing like a linen outfit. You look great. So I was like, oh, what else is going on this page? So I was looking around. Creeping around, if you will.
But
yeah, I love when you go on these cruises because I've never been on a cruise. So I find your YouTube channel, Waypoint Explorers, pretty informative for like the day I ever do go on a cruise.
Yeah.
Like I know what to expect now, but also like just living vicariously because the places that you're going off of the ship as well are freaking incredible too.
Yeah. You know, I do get a little frustrated with the excursions on cruise ships because they try to pack so much stuff into like a few hours. And listen, like I get it, but that's not really the way I love to travel. Because this one excursion we did in Puerto Vallarta, which I was really excited to visit Puerto Vallarta, but we did an excursion. It was called Tequila Factory in downtown. And so in my mind, I'm like, oh, we're going to watch tequila get made. And Steve, you know, loves tequila. But no, the agave that makes tequila does not grow. Like you can grow it below like 2,000, 3,000 feet elevation, but that's not the tequila. That's not the agave they use. Which, by the way, how cool is it that tequila comes from an agave?
I mean,
I had no idea. That's really cool.
So,
that makes sense. A lot of the bottles have agave on them, so I guess.
I didn't know it was a specific kind, though. I mean, of course it is, but
it's the blue agave. But the ones that they make tequila have to be grown like I think like 2,000, 3,000 feet above sea level. So it's kind of up in the central area of Mexico and not the coasts.
Oh, okay.
But you know, if you're gonna label an excursion Tequila Factory, like I was hoping to see tequila getting made. Like I was hoping to, but they basically were just like gift shops with like a little museum that just showed some of like the equipment that they used to use. But you could tell that they were just like, yeah, it wasn't like, I don't know.
It was like that show you went to with the, what was it, like Disney tunes or something? And you thought that you were going to hear all
Broadway.
Broadway.
But, and then after that, we went to downtown, which I was like, oh, this will be fun. Where, you know, you're on a big coach bus and then like, whatever, you're in a group because those people booked the same excursions. But now I was like, okay, we're going to go downtown and they're going to be like, okay, meet back at the bus in an hour and a half. No, our tour guide walked us around and I was like, this is just not how I like to travel. Like, I feel stupid that I'm part of a tour, first of all. Like, I think people are looking at us like, oh, look at those tourists. Like, I want to integrate. I want to be like, yeah, I'm from here. Like, I'm hitting all the cool places. So that was a little frustrating day. And I got hangry because we didn't really have lunch. And so I was getting really snippy with Steve.
Oh, don't let Adam go without food.
Yeah, it's a bad. But all in all, it was good. The day coming back, though, from Puerto Vallarta, we had 2 sea days to get back to Long Beach. But the last sea day, holy crap, the ship was rocking.
No.
And it was a rough one for me.
Oh,
I thought it would be worse, like in general, because I do get motion sickness, but I've really never had issues on the ship unless we're like in a really rocky state, which is the last days of the last 2 cruises we went on. But we were like in the theater at the end watching one of the shows, which the shows on Carnival were amazing. Like the entertainment each night, so cool.
Yeah.
But like Steve and I are just sitting there watching the show, and I look over and there's like a pile of puke on the floor.
Oh.
And immediately I look at Steve and I was like, there's puke on the floor. He's like, yeah, I watched it happen. I was like, and you didn't think to tell me? Like, I bet someone like was getting sick and they were just running out, like cupping it, and it was just spilling everywhere. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Trigger warning.
No.
You know, typically the trigger warning comes before the story.
Yeah.
But that's how rocky it was. People were just like running out of, because in the theater there's no windows. You know, usually if I'm feeling a little iffy, I just need to kind of look out a window.
Right.
In the theater there is none.
So
you just feel like the G-force of like your body's moving, but it's weird. I don't know. But yeah.
No. See, no, I can't be around other people who are just even nauseous. Like if they just say I feel nauseous, I immediately start feeling nauseous too. Like I absorb that energy.
Empath.
And like then I also get nauseous. It's like when I was on that boat for the sharks.
Yeah.
Like everyone around us was throwing up, and me and Daniel are just sitting there trying to hold it together.
Oh my gosh. When we got at our first stop, which was Cozumel, we got on a tender, which is some of the ports you like park out in the ocean and then you take little boats into the port. And some of them you can park on a big dock and you can just get off the ship and walk. So in Cozumel, we had to do a tender, and it was really rocky, and that's like where the tip of the Baja Peninsula is. So there's like a rock there called Land's End, like that's the lowest point of the peninsula. But yeah, so we got off on the tender, and the seas were really rocky, and it's obviously smaller than the cruise ship. And all I could think about, Becca, was your shark diving experience, because when we started going on that boat, I was like, oh God, like I don't know if I can handle this. And thankfully it was only like a 5-minute ride, but I was just like, I was like breathing real heavy. It was bad.
Yeah, what, like, boats, man? I don't like that. Like, people, I would love to go whale watching, but no, I won't go whale watching. Everyone I've ever known to go whale watching throws up. And no, I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm going to throw up. So,
yeah,
I'll just avoid it.
I get pretty bad motion sickness too. Like when I'm not driving, if I'm in like the back seat of a car, I'll get motion sickness, but it takes a while to set in, so it has to be like hours. But I don't know how I would be. I've gone on boat rides before where it was kind of rocky and nothing's happened, but that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about like spending all that money on a cruise and then like being sick, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, being sick the whole time.
I truly don't believe that you would. I think because the ships are so big, it's just like that last day. The seas must have been really rocky.
Yeah.
On the Pacific side, but yeah, it was a good time. We could chat more about like the intricacies on our Patreon episode for the month, but But before I went on this trip, I released beneficial bugs on my plants. So
yeah, you did.
I came home to like a bunch of new growth, but I don't know if it's because of the bugs or not. Because 2 weeks before, I soaked all my plants in the sulfur fungicide to kill those mites, and everyone says that one treatment of the sulfur fungicide kills them. So I don't know which reason is the one that worked, but I'm going to be doing, I think, beneficial bugs on a schedule now and just releasing them.
Yeah.
Ooh. Which ones did you do?
I went through Nature's Good Guys, and I got there's like a mixed pack for mites, ones that like they go after a bunch of different, but it was like 4 or 5 different predatory mites that attack different things, and they exist at different temperatures and humidity levels, and so it was just like a good mix. And honestly, like, I kind of love them. Like, I loved doing it.
Those videos are cool.
You can't see them at all. I mean, I was getting like really close-up videos with my microscope. But I did struggle with the fact of like, I know that my plants had pests on them, and I know I released the predatory mites, but like, are they doing anything? And I was like constantly for days after trying to like search for them on the plants to see if they were like, snacking.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to see them. So in my mind, I'm just like, it's such a passive pest management process that I was like, I don't know if it's working. So I definitely get people's anxiety with it.
Yeah. But I feel like if you're going to get predatory bugs, those are the way to go. I mean, they don't fly around. It's good for plants that are not like in a closed greenhouse setting, because all your shelving is open just like mine. So yeah, I'm curious to know, like, once you get back into the swing of plant care, because I know you just got back.
Yeah.
Like what you find, But
honestly, like leaving for 10 days for a vacation, coming back and seeing like so much growth happens in 10 days.
Yeah.
I mean, we all see our plants grow and we kind of look at them daily, but when you're gone away from them for 10 days and you come back, I'm just like, whoa. I was just like walking around the whole house like, look at this.
Yeah.
This wasn't here. Like, one of my Hoyas put off like 6 new leaves in the time that I was gone. I was like, what?
Whoa.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you leave your grow lights on when you leave?
Yeah, I keep them on. They're all on like a timer, so I just...
Oh, that's right. You have them set on a timer.
I
That's smart.
set the schedule, and I never have to worry about turning them on or off. Like, to just go.
Yeah. We put them on, probably turn them on at like 4:30 p.m.-ish.
Yeah.
And then turn them off at like 7 a.m.
Yeah, I forgot you do overnight.
Yeah, I do overnight because they're in the kitchen and the lights are bright. Although, like, I have those light blockers on the front of it, so it's like makes it more directional. They're still bright to look at, and we have the TV in the middle of my shelves. So I would leave them on all day, to be honest, but it's more of a convenience thing for
the lights that we have when you're seated at, like you said, when you're seated at your table, you're looking up at the top shelves, and you probably, because they are
eyes,
very bright.
Yeah.
I like that you do it at night because honestly, like, grow lights are great, but I don't like living in a grow light house. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like it to feel like I have grow lights.
Right. And the lights that we all have, I feel like, it's not that intrusive purple grow light, but it still changes the mood of your space for sure. So, nobody's down there at that time, so it's just like, Plus, they do get a good chunk of light in the summer, not during the winter, but in the summer, they get nice light from the patio doors, so...
Yeah.
See, I think most of my plants where they're growing are in areas of the house where we just don't sit. But I would have the same feelings. Like, if we were sitting in those rooms, I was like, I wouldn't like the grow lights on during the day. Because it is, I don't know, it's just like, it's a weird kind of like, to me anyway, well, to you guys too, it's just kind of, it's a weird vibe. So,
Yeah,
I think that's all for me. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
I guess
Nicole?
I'll go. Yeah. So I'm still kind of playing catch up from getting back from vacation. I feel like every time I go out of town, like whether I'm gone for 4 days, a week, 2 weeks, it always takes me at least a week to like get back into the swing of things. And I feel like I didn't have that because I was sick when I got back home, and I didn't want to get anybody else sick. Jay had a couple pretty big sessions coming up, and my cough, when I say my cough was horrific, like, it was bad. I'm convinced that I probably had acute bronchitis. So I stayed upstairs, like the kids weren't here for the past week and a half, and I stayed in Tia's room because I didn't want to get like Jay sick. So in like my head, I wasn't fully home because I was still living out of my suitcase. I was like putting my mask on to go to the kitchen, like I just didn't want anybody else to catch it. Mia didn't catch it, thank God, which was strange because we were together the whole time,
Yeah, that is strange.
But yeah, so like this past week, I started feeling better. It was definitely just a cold because I took 3 different COVID tests and they were all negative because I was paranoid. But I feel like this past week I've just started playing catch up. Like I've gotten back into weddings, so I'm kind of becoming busier on the weekends, and I had 2 other sessions this week. So again, like after being off of work for so long, now it's like in full spring wedding season, and it's starting to pick up and get busy. But I've been just doing like some editing and stuff. I repotted a couple plants. I brought all of my cactus and euphorbia outside last weekend because, in the Midwest, we talk about this often, it'll be, 80 degrees for like 3 days straight. And then the next day it'll be snowing Well, like in the forecast, it wasn't showing any days dropping below 40. So I was like, these cactus they'll be fine. Like, I'm going to bring them outside. We're going to get this spring thing going. They're going out, I'm cleaning my shelves, did all that. Literally 3 days later, I was talking to another plant person at one of my wedding venues that I talk to all the time about plants. She's like, yeah, but it's going to be like 31 degrees tomorrow. What are you going to do? I was like, wait, what? She's like, yeah. And I was like, God damn it. And it literally took me like an hour and a half to bring them all out there. I was like, I'm not wasting all that time bringing them back in.
Yeah, no.
So I covered them and they seem to be okay. I just took the cover off this morning. I have to inspect them a little bit closer, but they seem to be okay. So
I mean, did it get that low of temps overnight?
It did. There was no frost on the grass, but it got down to 29 in Palatine. So
they're fine.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a poet and you didn't know it. 29 in Palatine.
29 in Palatine.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's exciting though to have them out there because like just sitting in the backyard, I'm like, oh, this gives me spring vibes, you know?
Yeah. The spring vibes are here for sure.
Yeah. Stuff's starting to grow. Allergies are in full force. You know?
Yeah.
Things are blooming. Our star magnolia tree is in full bloom in the front yard, which it just looks so pretty. One of our listeners and our friend Steve DM'd me and he's like, wait, it blooms before it puts out its leaves for the season? I was like, I know, I never noticed that, but
it's so weird. They look so strange.
Yeah, it's like there's no foliage on them at all. It's just all flowers, and then they'll lose all the flowers and shoot out the foliage. But
magnolia trees are so pretty.
They are.
Why do trees need to bloom first? Like, I don't get it.
I don't know. And I don't know if it's specific to the magnolia, but well, a part of me has that same vibe or feeling towards a lot of things that bloom. Like tulips are so freaking pretty, but they're there for like a week and then they're gone. Cherry blossoms are everywhere right now, but they're going to be gone in like a day, you know?
Yeah.
It's sad that you wait all year for this. And you get it for 12 whole days.
Yeah. That's what's so weird to me about like the daffodils. Like I have this person down the street from me who has like all the bulbs. Sorry, that probably sounded like a garbunkled mess because I'm trying to move my bangs.
Garbunkled.
Anyway. Anyway, yeah, they had a bunch of daffodils and they're already dead. Like,
yeah,
they're already done blooming. I'm like, okay, a little anticlimactic here. Lasted for all of 2 weeks.
Yeah. But our hostas are starting to come up and those last all season. So that's exciting. My mom's like, are these going to come back? We have a bunch of other stuff that's starting to come up too.
I mean, hostas, they'll be there for life.
Yeah, they really are so resilient.
I was worried about my hostas at the end of last season.
Yeah.
Because they looked scary. They looked like they died. But yeah, they're coming back. They look a lot bigger too. Like all my plants that are coming back this year that like died completely back, they look so much bigger. And I'm like, whoa. Like my rose bushes look really cool. Look really cool. They look really good.
I miss rose bushes.
Cool.
I had like knockout roses and I loved them when I was in Illinois. Like I treated those things like my babies.
Yeah, that's what I have. I think I have like 5 or 6 of them out front.
They got Japanese beetles and I was like, these effers need to die. I was like drowning them in soap water.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Japanese
How dare you touch my roses?
Suck. I think we had knockout roses in my childhood home. You could grow them there if you wanted to water them a lot.
I've seen people with roses. I really just need to sort out some outdoor plant life here.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not like a xeriscape situation, but you could have them like under your patio in a pot or something. That's what my dad does. He has like a jasmine bush, I think.
Yes.
And it smells so good. And he has it just under the covered patio.
I love jasmine.
Yeah, pot them in like a really big pot and just put it on a trellis. I feel like
Yes.
I mean our rose bushes are in full sun. I know it's Chicago full sun is different than Tucson full sun or Phoenix full sun, but
Yeah.
I bet you'd be fine. Japanese beetles though, I was introduced to them last year. I remember you
they're
texting
coming
me.
again, Nicole. If you're not proactive, they're gonna come again.
I know. Well, my mom got grub X because I was informed multiple times that they start in the grass and they like grubs turn into Japanese beetles. Right?
Oh, really?
Well,
they're
that's
so pretty though. It's a sad thing.
They're assholes, is what they are. There's the explicit mark.
I was like, I want nail polish the color of a Japanese beetle. Please.
True though. It's like that.
True.
Yeah. They're pretty cool. But they have like 9 lives because I have blasted them with water, did the whole soapy thing, sprayed them with insecticide. They just keep on trucking, man. You really have to murder them the right way, or they'll just be like, nope, sorry, and fly off. But yeah, grub X. So it starts in your grass. So you have to like treat your entire lawn. And I was told that like the healthier your lawn is, the more that you'll probably get. So we have a big ass lawn. I mean, it's not like Becca Calhoun big, but it's big enough to like have to lay grub X everywhere. It's like $50 a bag for this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
like, just let the Japanese beetles have the bushes, Mom. Just let them have them. After all, we're living in their house.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. If I had Japanese beetles, I don't think I could control it. If they start in the grass,
no,
I would not be able to
way.
control that. Now I'm gonna get them. Now that I've said that,
Yeah.
they heard me. They're on their way right now.
I'm gonna look this
hear
up
them.
just so I'm not giving false information, but I'm pretty sure that. Yeah.
Well, Japanese beetles like stink bugs. They do the whole pheromone thing. Like when they find a spot, then they just emit pheromones, and everyone's like, "Oop, over here, guys." You know.
Yeah. Yeah, grubs eventually turn
Disgusting.
into adult beetles. They emerge from the soil to mate and lay eggs.
And that's all they do is they munch and mate.
Munch and mate, yeah.
What a
I'm like,
life.
come on.
What? Yeah, what a life.
Come on.
Yeah.
What about me? I'd love to live that kind of life. Munch and mate. Be a little pillow princess Japanese beetle.
Feast and fornicate. We could just go on with these.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's some good titles for the podcast, guys.
Munch and mate.
Yep. Signed,
Oh
sealed,
my
delivered.
gosh. Yeah.
But that's pretty much it for me. Like, it's just been a week of kind of catch up and getting back into what life really is while working and not on
Yeah.
vacation, you know? How about you,
Yeah.
Becky?
Yeah. Okay. Well, life's been a bit nuts. So in the last
You're building
week.
a greenhouse. A green
Yes.
house.
Everybody who has humored me through all the times I said, if it doesn't go up this weekend, something went wrong. Okay. It did go up this weekend. Nothing went
Yay.
wrong. We have it completely framed out. Well, there's a few framing things that still need to happen to help enforce the roof, but it's huge. Like, it is so tall. You don't realize how tall 12 feet is until you're on a ladder installing beams at 12 feet in the air. Like, there were so many moments where, and mind you, my grandparents came down. Daniel's grandparents. It feels weird to call them Daniel's grandparents because literally from the moment I met them, I called them grandma and grandpa. Like,
Yeah.
first time meeting them, the vibe was there.
Mm-hmm.
So they came down and they were just, they grabbed the, what is it? They grabbed the bull by the horns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We hit the ground running. Like, the night they came, we were setting up the foundation. We were getting everything ready to go. Next day, we framed out all the walls. You know, it was insane. We put up the siding on the north side. It was just so much. If you want to see like updates as of right now, I have TikToks that have gone up. I don't know when this episode's going up, but I don't think that my building video will be up at this point. It might be. You can check, but TikTok for sure. I've already posted like 4 parts of the process, so you can go watch that. Anyway, it's been a blast. It really has. I feel like I'm learning so much. And like the other day I saw a video of this woman building a little playhouse for her daughters, and I watched it with fresh eyes because I was like, oh, I could actually do that. Like I know how to frame a house now. Like I literally know how to build a house, which is so weird because like we were sitting there, we're like, this could be a tiny house. Like literally this could be a tiny house. And it is, I was always originally planning for it to be 12 by 16, but then we laid out all the wood and saw what that looked like and then decided to make it 12 by 24 instead.
So fun.
Which is awesome. It's like, it's huge. And I feel like it's too big at this point, but I know that I'll fill it up pretty quickly and it'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know. I just feel like I'm in my construction girl era. I am learning how to build like this massive structure that is like so much bigger than me and like anything I've ever built. And like my grandpa has built a lot of structures before, so he was just like absolutely so helpful. And like all the things that Daniel and I didn't think about, he was like, oh well, we need to do this, and we were like, oh shoot, we didn't even think about
That's
that,
nice,
you know?
that he was so helpful. Like, you know, he's a grandpa, so he's got to be up there in age. And
Yeah.
I'm just picturing grandpa on this 12-foot ladder hanging some rafter beams. And I mean, what a man. What a man.
Yeah, I was terrified. Like, I was so scared that something was going to happen for no reason. He was fine. Everything was fine. But it's just like, in my mind, I'm catastrophizing. Like, if he fell off the ladder and something happened to him, everyone would be like, well, if it wasn't for Becca being so selfish, making grandpa work on this ladder, blah, blah, blah. Daniel's stupid wife. Like, I was just, like, catastrophizing the situation. And, like, while we're up there hanging the beams, I'm, like, a little shaky because I'm like, please don't fall off. Please don't fall. Like, not for me, for him. Like,
Yeah.
if I fell, it would really freaking hurt, but I would be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
If grandpa fell, no.
Yeah.
Becca runs
it would-
inside and calls the insurance agent just to make sure the policy's up to date.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. So, and then also like when we were in the middle of building, because the plans called for 2x6s for the roof, which is basically just like, yeah, a 2-foot wide board, 6 foot 6 inches long. No, 2 foot. Whatever. Everybody knows what a 2x6 is. Why am I mansplaining a 2x6? Okay, they're heavy. Okay,
Yeah.
that's why they're heavy.
lot
They're
of
bigger
wood.
than it. It's a lot of wood to be slinging around. So, Grandpa saw that there was 2x6s for the roof, and that's for like the snow load to like, you know. Anyway, because like snow in Columbia is super unpredictable. Like this year we got a lot of snow. Last year we barely got any. So like you just never know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you just want to be prepared for the worst. And so he was like, I don't know about 2x6s for the roof. Like, that's really heavy. Like, do we need that? He's like, I've always built my buildings that have 2x4s and I've never had any issues. And we're like, okay, well, let's like go like chat with the wood company. So we went there and we ended up talking to like a structural guy. Like, he was like creating blueprints for like a house. I was like, okay, cool.
He knows his stuff.
And he's like, yeah, he's like, you definitely need 2x6s, and you know, in order for an inspector to look at this and like say it's fine, blah blah blah. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't live in the city limits, so like I'm not I'm not like bound by code and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, but still, like if you sell your property and that is on the property, an inspector has to look at it to say that it's safe. And I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I can't like say that these plans, I can't guarantee that this would be checked off by an inspector. And I was like,
Well, maybe if you get your original inspector to do it, then they'll just overlook it like they did
There you
everything
go.
else.
like they did everything else for our house.
Yes.
Yeah, great. Yeah, for some backstory, the previous inspector of our house they missed so much stuff, and we are paying for it now. Like, huge thing, the chimney is cracked, and that's not a recent crack, and that's like a whole $400 or $500 to fix it, which should have been done before we bought the house if we had known about it. Anyway,
Yeah.
just homeowner things. So yeah, if I do sell my house, I don't, like, he told me, he's like, I can't, like, for liability reasons, I can't say if you do this, it will guarantee being checked off by an inspector, but if you make this change, it'll be more likely. And I was like, okay. So we are going to do the thing that he suggested. So anyway, all this to say, we've had a few bumps, but nothing crazy. Like, had to make a ton of trips to Menards, get some extra wood, because we changed the size too, so that, like, more materials. Yeah. But other than that, like, it's been pretty smooth, and, like, the only thing that really sucks about it all is that the stain looks horrible. I hate the stain, but it's, like, way too late. Yeah, I hate it, but
I think it'll fade.
Yeah, I think it'll fade too, because it's, like, kind of an orangey color right now, from what I gather.
Yeah, it's like, okay, there's three different types of wood on the greenhouse right now. So there's the plywood siding, there's the treated pieces for the base that's touching the ground, and then there's just the construction lumber for the frame. And the stain looks different on all three, which is normal. And the stain's not going to look the same on every piece of wood. But the way that it looks on the plywood is, like, very dark brown, which almost like a walnut brown, which is fine. It's not, like, I wish it wasn't that dark, but whatever. But it pulls very, very, very red on the framing lumber. And I hate it. But not enough to sand it off and redo it, because that would be so much work. So I'm hoping that it fades, and then after, like, a year, I can maybe go over it with something else. I don't know.
Also, when your polycarbon sheeting goes up, it might change the look of it too.
Yeah, hopefully I won't even be able to see it. Like, from the outside, I don't think you're going to be able to see, like, the red wood, but from the inside you will. But there's going to be plants everywhere, so hopefully it's not, like, the focus,
Yeah.
But also, I was going to say, if it ends up, like, end of summer and it still hasn't faded and you still hate it, can't you paint over it with, like, a sealant paint, like a color, like white or gray or whatever?
Or even just, like, a lime wash to, like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I could probably do something like that. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know.
But when you get done with a project like that and then you don't love the result, it's like, son of a...
Yeah.
I just spent all that time.
I know, what the hell. And, like, I don't hate it enough to redo it. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. I'm not going to do that. That's just way too much. But as soon as we started putting it on, I'm like, we're putting red paint on this right now. This is red paint, literally. And my grandma was like,
did you finish it?
Fade. Well, see, it was supposed to rain all day today, and it hasn't rained yet. So I don't know when it's going to rain. So there's, like, a few pieces that aren't sealed yet. Like, the entire north wall has not been sealed yet. But I'm going to need more sealant, because...
Yeah, you can't find it, right?
Yeah, the plywood, like, drinks the sealant. It's a stain and seal in one. It literally drinks it. Like, I went through an entire can just doing, like, a quarter of the amount I'm gonna need to do. Like, I was like, oh shit. Well, that's not good. So I'm a little nervous about that, like, getting more of the product, but, like, it's more important that, like, the structure, like, the beams get stained and sealed than, like, the siding. Like, the siding will get done. It's just, I'm under a time crunch because I'm going to Ireland on Monday.
Yeah.
And then 4 days after I get back from Ireland, I'm going to Tucson. So it's just, May is a wash. But I knew that if I didn't get the greenhouse up last weekend, it would have had to wait until, like, June. Which at that point...
And it's so hot.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, no.
Yeah. It's way too hot. Like, on the days this weekend when it was, like, really sunny, it was almost too much. And it only got up to, like, 74. But just, like,
humidity.
being...
Oof.
Yeah, but just like being out in the elements and like the harsh sun in the middle of the day working, it's just hot. It's not fun.
No.
So anyway, all that to say, it's up. Things are happening. Now I just need to figure out like ventilation and all that kind of stuff, which is going to be another stressor, but that's for when I get back. I can worry about that throughout the summer. Just like I'm probably going to tinker with it, and it probably won't fully be done until maybe like end of summer or fall even, which is fine.
Yeah.
Are you insulating it? I can't remember.
I want to insulate
Like
the north wall. Yeah.
Or even like the half walls too that you put the siding on.
Yeah, I'm wondering if insulating the half walls will be worth it. Like I don't know.
I think if you got snow and it's like up against it, like drifting up against it, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you're planning on keeping plants in there all year, then I would insulate everything.
Yeah. Yeah, the north wall I definitely want to insulate and close in because it's ugly with the plywood on the inside. I'm like, I like stained part of it. And I was like, ew, you can see that it's plywood, you know, like obviously. So I was like, either I'll paint it white or I'll just close in the wall, which is more expensive. It's a 24-foot wall.
Oh, yeah.
To like insulate. And then I have to get like either drywall or like tongue and groove.
Yeah. It is definitely.
But then you can like
cost.
put shelves up and hang plants or supplies. It would be cute.
Yeah.
It would be like a feature wall.
Yeah. Yeah, the north wall
Or
needs
paint
to be
a mural. Like
Oh.
Becky's,
yes.
I don't know. But you don't have to put your name on it. But like a cute little mural.
Yeah. 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 And you know what? I was thinking like when it's all done, how cool would it be to like rent it out to photographers and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? Because
You can have
you
You can have a cactus bench that you were talking about doing and paint a mural behind it of mountainscape. Mount Lemon.
Oh my gosh.
Mount Lemon.
Like just like just like one of those like simple murals that just uses a couple colors, but you just know what it is and love it.
Yes.
That'd be so cool.
Like abstract.
I'm so
Oh.
excited.
I'm dreaming.
She's tinkering with the idea.
What are your other plans for the inside? Are you going to do like benches the whole way around the greenhouse?
Yeah, so I'm going to do benches the whole way around. I really want to get like an antique sink. Like one of those like big enamel white sinks that have like the countertop attached to it. You know those ones?
Yeah.
I want one of those so bad, and they're so expensive. I'd love to find one like antiquing or something. Maybe it would be a little bit less, but they're pretty sought after, so I feel like I'd have to pay a lot either way.
You have
But
to show
honestly,
up to those estate sales like right when they open.
yeah. I feel like I might be able to find a good price, like as long as I'm spending like less than $500. I think I'd be happy, but they're so expensive. And the greenhouse, I'm wanting it to be like relatively off-grid too. So I need to set up my rainwater collection off of it. I'm probably going to collect rainwater off my house too and just have like water tanks and like get like a water pump for the sink, like what you have in like a camper.
Yeah.
And then for like the ventilation, like I'm thinking solar. I have enough room to do like a solar farm, but like then again, I don't know how effective that's going to be because like it's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
But I told you guys how much it's going to cost to put electricity in it, right?
No, I don't think so.
$4,000.
To just run a power thing over there?
Yes.
That makes
Okay,
sense.
so not that
Does
like my
it?
dad can not that my dad can help, but like he helped me in my house in Illinois install new power outlets like on the outside of my house so I could have and like installed new fuse box. Like my dad just knew all that stuff. I was like, how the hell do you know this? And I'm sure that's probably
Yeah.
what yours would have to do. But you'd have to
Yeah.
like dig in the ground and like run the lines underneath.
Yeah.
That's what costs so much
Yeah.
is because it's all underground.
Yeah. And the thing is that sucks is like electric work, like you should be certified, like certified
Oh, yeah.
electrician, like you should. But a lot of people do rewiring in their homes and it's like not a big deal. But like
the coding, though.
yeah, the coding, like if like Daniel could do it, but like it wouldn't be to code because he's not an electrician, or like it would be to code, but it wouldn't be certified to code. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And that makes it tricky, like if and when we sell the house, because we don't know if we're going to sell it. Ideally, in the most ideal world, I would have my parents live here while we're, you know, away. And then when we can come back to the house later, and like add on to the house and like redo it, like make this current area where I am like a true basement, and then build like an entire house on top of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You guys know like how my house is shaped, so it might make more sense to you guys. Not everybody knows that out there, which is probably a good thing, but you know, it would be possible to add like an entire upstairs area, and make my house like 3 levels or something, or even just 2 levels, but just expand the first level, and have this bottom piece be just like the walkout basement. And you know, theoretically, we could rent it out. It's basically like a 1-bedroom down here.
Yeah.
Theoretically, you both and the dogs can move to the greenhouse and rent your house out. Tiny home living is on the rise.
It is. And okay, Daniel and I have made that joke. Like, we could just put like a cot in here. And I'm like, okay, like I wouldn't hate it. On like really cold nights, like if it stays at like 60-ish degrees in that greenhouse, like I could sleep in it just to make sure. Like if it got really cold, I would know.
Now that would be a content creation video.
Spending 20. Oh, that's a good video. Spending 24 hours in my greenhouse.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yep.
Yes. I love that. I would hope to get a lock on the door though. I'm a little scared.
With Adam and Nicole. Even
we
better.
should just all have a slumber party.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, my friend Megan was saying that I should have a slumber party in the greenhouse. I'm like, I wish I had more friends here to do that. I have like 2 friends.
Yeah.
That would be so much fun. Yeah.
I remember like camping out in my backyard when I was younger, but at some point in the night I always went inside because I was scared.
Yes. Daniel and I did that last summer, remember?
Yeah, that's right.
We camped in our backyard, but it was too loud, so we came in. At like 4 a.m, or no, maybe 3. We're like shuffling in the house. Like,
yeah, you really got to camp somewhere like where it's not easily accessible to go back home.
Right.
To just force yourself to do it.
Which makes me think like camping just isn't that fun, actually. If you
I never enjoyed it. I did it.
No.
I did go camping quite a few times, but I was just forcing myself to have a good time.
But like when you tent camp and you just got to bring all your food supplies and then cook it,
oh my
and then
God,
it's just
so
all
much.
of it is just a pain. It is fun.
Yeah.
But I haven't been camping here because here there are literal things everywhere that want to kill you.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't the case in Illinois.
Yeah.
Like you could go here. There's like bobcats and bears.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, you need to go up in the mountains. But okay, like I feel like camping is like a good cheap family vacation, like getaway. So maybe that's why we did it so much as kids, because our parents are like, what can we do with them to entertain them for the weekend that'll cost like $50? I'm like, okay. Yeah. Like we used to go camping all the time. Actually, there was this one time we went camping at Mount Lemon during monsoon season, which was so silly. I don't know why my parents did that. Bless their hearts, because they really anyway. So it was then the first night or the second night of camping, and it was a torrential downpour. It was raining so hard that our tent was like almost flat on top of us. God. It was like unsafe. It was not stopping. So we're like, should we like go home?
The car was right there.
We literally left all of our stuff and went home that night because it was raining so hard. It was like, yeah. And then my dad had to go back the next day and pack everything up, which probably sucked.
Yeah, I bet.
Poor guy.
That's the thing. It's like camping, yes, it is a cheap thing to do, and a lot of families truly enjoy it. But like the kids are having fun regardless, because the kids are not pitching a tent or cooking on a little tiny grill that won't light because there's wind, or like dealing with like bug spray and sunscreen. Like you're just running around as a kid having fun digging in dirt, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as a parent, it's not a very fun time. So if your parents take you camping or took you camping as a kid, they loved you. they really loved you.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't imagine, like, you want to complain the whole time, but you're having to, like, you know, stay positive for the kids. Yeah. No. See, I was always, like, in my adult age right now, I'm like, if I was to go camping, like, I guess I would go in a tent. But then I stayed in a tent last summer, and I was like, this sucks. Because you just got to crouch around. And I'm not even a tall person. So, like, I can't imagine, like, for Daniel, it sucks. For Adam, it probably sucks. And then I think, though, the alternative is a camper, which are so expensive. Have you ever looked into buying a camper?
Yeah,
my dad had a camper.
Steve and I want one of those, like, small van conversions, like those conversion vans.
Yes.
They're like $100K for, like, the base model.
Yeah.
Yes. Unless you convert it yourself, which is, like, so much work.
Yeah.
I don't even
and
know.
money.
I wouldn't even know where to start. I wouldn't even know.
And money, yeah. There's this YouTuber I watch, Hannah Lee Duggan, and she did a van conversion, and that's how I found her. Her van is so cute. It's just like a Ford Econoline or whatever. But it was so much work. And I mean, she's very handy and she knows how to, like, do a lot of stuff. But, like, geez. And that's what I would want to do. Daniel wants a camper. Obviously not right now because they're so expensive. But I would want, like, a van conversion. That seems so much more fun.
There's a lot that goes into it, though. Like, if you're actually going to travel for, like, a long period of time or live in it, like, there's a lot that goes into those. Like, it's not just a bed, and, like, some have plumbing and electricity and, like,
bathrooms.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That stuff intrigues me and Jay, too. Like, I feel like we dream about the day when the kids are adults and we can just do whatever we want. And that's definitely something we would do. Like, we would put all of our money into that and just travel all around the world, you know?
And, like, you guys are photographers. So, like, you could find work along the way.
Right. Yeah.
Good photographers at that.
Yeah, very.
Thank you.
I'd be happy with, like, one of those tier. See, my thing is, like, I just kind of want a comfy, safe place to sleep. So, like, even those, like, teardrop trailers that you can, like, fold out. Like, I think I would be, with just Steve and I'd be happy with that. Now, if you have a family with kids, that would be a little, like, I don't know, but.
Yeah.
Or an Airstream. Remember that Airstream we rented in Phoenix?
Yes.
That's so cool.
That.
Yeah.
Also, there's, like, we took my grandparents to the state park so they could see the campsite because they have a camper, and there was a car, like, rooftop
just get
camper.
in on that wheel and just get that camper.
Get in on it.
A lot of other kids. Daniel is one of 4.
Oh, dang.
And then there's other grandkids. No.
Don't marry a man with a big family.
That's the lesson here.
They gotta split it all.
Oh, this might be my groomer. Groomer. Hold on.
Was it your groomer?
Yeah, I'm really sorry about that.
That's okay. Is she okay? Like, she's good?
Yeah, he said that she's fine. She's coming in on Monday to, like, do catch-ups, but we're going to be gone on Monday, so.
Shoot.
But I bought some grooming equipment, so I'm going to try to do it myself. I have no idea how it's going to work, but I'm going to try.
Yeah.
You know, when you mentioned that, like, parents have to keep it together, it reminded me of, like, one time my niece, who was young at the time, and I were driving, and it was through a really bad snowstorm in Nebraska. Like, I was terrified as an adult. I was, like, freaking out, and I just put on, like, a Disney sing-along, and I was just like, the circle of life. I'm, like, trying to keep it together for her so she didn't start freaking out. But literally there was one point she goes, I can't see the road, and I was like, neither can I. Like, we're gonna go with it.
Oh no.
Then the next song would come on, but oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Parents really are, like, just I'm not ready.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it at that. Because I'd be like, yeah, I'm scared too, you little shit, shut up.
I mean, brief little update about the anxiety you experience being a parent.
Yeah.
Like, today Mia was she's on a field trip as we speak, and I'm so thankful that I have you two and this podcast, because I would be a basket case if I was doing nothing but this. But like school buses in general, okay? And this may contribute to the fact that my mom has the news on 24/7, so I'm constantly being fed these bad stories of things, you know? But just this past week, there was a school bus accident, and there's not seatbelts on most school buses for reasons I don't know of, but it does make sense to me, but there's not. Allegedly, according to Mia, there's seatbelts on her bus. But anyway, there was a school bus accident, and this guy rams into a school bus, and the kids just go flying.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I saw the video, yeah.
It was pretty wild. Nobody was really hurt, I don't think.
No,
school
just
bus.
like bouncing all over the school bus. They're just like out of their seats and hitting the roof.
Because it flipped. Like he hit it so hard that it was bad. So there's that, you know. And then, this is not fun. This is so far from funny. But like at an amusement park a few weeks ago, a kid fell out of a ride and died. And like I hear these stories, and it's just like, yeah, I'm just never going to do that again.
Just like, that was the Florida one, right?
Yeah, and there were reasons behind why that happened, which was not the fault of the ride. But still, it's like,
what were the reasons?
He was,
I think they were over the limit.
Over the weight limit and over the height limit too, I think. The seatbelt didn't lock into place properly.
Oh, so
the kid was like 14.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
And that ride goes so high in the sky. It was like it wasn't at an amusement park, but it was just like at one of those like pop-up? It's in Orlando, but yeah, it wasn't a pop-up. Like it's a stable one, but they just put this huge like sky ride. Yeah, I get it.
No.
I get the anxiety.
So I have these things in the back of my head, and here's my daughter, 40 minutes on a school bus, going to Six Flags. She's never been on a real roller coaster before. All of her friends are daredevils. They're like, we're going to go on all of it. And I'm just like, I'm a mess. And when you're a parent, you worry about the dumbest shit, like the dumbest shit. And I just have to keep telling myself like, hey, you know, she's going to be old enough to do whatever she wants soon enough. Like I just have to trust that she's okay, you know? So while
I feel like, I don't think my mom was this concerned about me ever.
You know, Mia wouldn't know that I was this concerned if I wasn't like jokingly being like, be okay, text me, blah, blah, you know? But I hide a lot of it. If I told her how often I worried about little shit, she would be terrified of me. She would be like, something's wrong with you.
But I think it's also something that information is so readily available at all of our fingertips now than it was when we were children.
Oh, yeah.
Like we've seen like the, whatever they call it, it's like, something porn is what they call it, but when you're watching these videos, like terrible things happening.
Trauma porn.
You know, it's like trauma
porn.
Yeah. And we've all seen like all of these terrible things now, and we can. But before we might have heard stories, but never actually witnessed it, and now we can witness it, and so like I think we're all just heightened
overload, which is kind of wild because a majority of serial killers happened in like the 70s and the 80s, you know, like when a time where we left our front doors open, which is so crazy, you know, although they say there's something like over 100 serial killers in the world, like at the moment that we don't know about, which freaks me out too. But anyway.
Ooh, over 100?
Yeah, something like that. It might be more than
Nicole,
that.
This is the reason that you need to watch stupid, shitty reality TV shows and stop watching.
And not whatever it is that you watch.
2020 and true crime documentaries.
Yeah. Wait.
I know, it's awful.
Speaking of murder, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think I have a delay. Speaking of murder and true crime, I started reading this book. It's called Dial A for Aunties, and it's supposed to be like a romance thriller true crime type of thing, and I was like, oh, fun. And like I read the description, and by the way, huge spoiler, so if you want to read it, just skip like 30 seconds because I'm just gonna say what happens. So basically this girl gets set up to go on a date by her mom. Like her mom catfished the guy and said that she was her daughter so that she could go on a date. And so she's like, Mom, why the hell did you do that? But she still agrees to go on the date because she's like, why not? And the guy, the girl did not read the chat messages that her mom had been sending. So she didn't know. Also, there's a language barrier. Her mom is like Indonesian and Chinese. And so her English isn't that great. So the guy was like, oh yeah, like it turned to sexual, and the mom didn't know because she doesn't understand like the nuance of like the eggplant emoji and stuff like that. So like he's like, I've got a big eggplant for you, and she's like, oh, he's so nice, he wants to make me eggplant, like how did he know that's my favorite? And she's like, oh, I love eggplant. She's like, I love a big eggplant or something like that. Like she had no idea. So it's like funny, right? Okay, so the daughter did not read the messages. So the guy takes her out to dinner. He's definitely like a douche. Like they're portraying him as being like a stupid rich guy who like talks about how he's rich, which is annoying. But then they get back in the car, or he's like, here, I'll drive you home because since you've had a bit to drink. And she's like, okay, I guess. She has a taser in her purse, which I would say isn't that strange given life.
Not today.
Yeah, so she's like, just in case, like whatever. She's glad that she has it, whatever. Okay, so he like put his hand on her leg, and obviously that's like very suggestive and whatever, and she was like really uncomfortable because she didn't know that all this sexual stuff had occurred. And he did, obviously, so he thought that he was gonna get some. So he's acting like he's going to. He's taking the steps to make this happen. And she like moves his hand off of her leg, and then he's like, oh, you want to play it like that, baby? And she's like, what the hell? And like she got really freaked out, and she freaking tases him. Okay.
Oh shit.
So yeah, and then she like wakes up, and he like crashed into a tree. Okay. She thinks he's dead, so she needs to get out of there. So she pulls him out of her car, puts him in the trunk. Okay. Where do you think she should drive now? Let's see. Let's
dump
pull
him
the
in the
audience.
lake.
Where would she drive now that would make the most sense? The least
police
incriminating thing that
station.
she can do. You're right. The police
Or
station.
the hospital, maybe?
The
I don't know.
hospital.
Or the hospital. What, did she go
I was
home and go to
thinking.
sleep?
No, she went to her mom's house. And she's like, Mom, we have to get rid of this dead body.
Oh my
And I was
God.
like, what the hell? This is the point where they lost me. Because I was like, no, I understand that the book needs a plot, but this is just too much.
Yeah.
I get that he was a bad guy, but also he thought he was getting some. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I get that he was a bad guy. But anyway, so what happens is they keep commenting. Okay, so she calls all of the aunties. So they all come over to the house, and they're all like thinking about what they should do with the body. Like one of them is a baker. They're like, oh, let's put him in her freezer until we know what to do with him. I'm like,
None of these
take
women.
him to the hospital. Like, anyway, so they're all commenting about how warm his body feels still. Like, oh, he should have he should be cold by now, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they get him into the freezer, and I stopped listening at that point because I'm like, listen, I'm witnessing a crime, and they're like thinking it's funny. Like, this is supposed to be a comedy, and I don't think this is funny at all. This is like actually like, super horrible. Okay, so I started reading reviews of the book, like the bad reviews, because I typically will read like middle, I'll read the first few that come up, and then I don't usually look at the super bad reviews. So anyway, I went to the bad reviews, and it was like, obviously, spoiler alert, the guy was still alive when they put him in the freezer, and he ended up suffocating.
Oh, how horrific.
So that made it even worse. That's like one of the worst ways to die. Like,
Oh, yeah.
he literally, they suffocated him to death because they didn't want to
Buried
check for a
alive.
pulse. Yeah, they didn't want to check for a pulse because it was bad luck, apparently. That's what her aunties were saying. And, like, it was just, like,
This is
so...
some practical magic shit.
Yeah,
Practical
no,
magic
exactly.
shit.
I was getting
Yes.
practical magic vibes. So I didn't read to that part, but like when I found out that they suffocated him, I was like, okay, I'm glad that I didn't finish this because like it wasn't funny to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't
No.
care. Like, and I'm not defending the guy because he clearly was being creepy, but at the same time, does he deserve to suffocate to death because he thought he was going to get it in and he
Yeah,
touched her
no.
leg and maybe
mean,
drove down
he
a creepy street? Like,
he put the eggplant out there already. You know, the eggplant was part of the situation.
Yeah,
The
did they at
eggplant
least
emoji.
check to see if like he had some facts behind the bragging? I don't know.
I mean, he did say that it was a big eggplant, so I don't know. Don't all men say that? My mom said to me the other day, she goes, there's something about inches. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that was 12 inches or something like that. And she goes, well, women have been told to believe that about 3 inches is more like 8 inches. Or something like that. I was like,
You
Gabby.
poor dad.
Gabby.
I
It
read
was
a
super
funny. There's an author that I used to read, which he does comedy books, but his name's Christopher Moore. Sorry, just random book stuff. But
Book
he
corner.
has a book. He's a really funny writer, but he has a book. It was basically about Jesus. You know, there's not much about Jesus when he was like a teenager, because basically his ministry started when he was 30.
Yeah.
So this is called, I think the book title is like something Savior. But anyway, it talks about Jesus like growing up as a child and a teenager. And there was one point where everyone in the town was pissed because his face appeared on all their bread when they cooked it and like all this stuff. But it is a really funny book. It was very crass. But
Oh my gosh. I feel like
I don't know.
comedy in books is so hard to get. Like
Yeah.
it's you either get it or you don't. It's hard to write comedy, I feel.
For sure.
yeah.
Speaking of Jesus, though, did you guys watch The Way Down on HBO Max? About
No, what's
Gwen
that?
Shamblin?
Oh, was that the lady that crashed in the airplane going to a MAGA thing?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, was it a MAGA
What?
thing?
Yeah.
Oh, they were going to Florida. That explains it.
Oh no.
There's
the
a part
cult of
two.
like weight loss and all that stuff.
Yeah, The Way Down, but it was spelled like WEIGH. Like, you pretty much join this cult. It was a cult. And it was like centered around weight loss, and it was very toxic. And anyway, they just came out with a part 2 on HBO Max. I thought it was finished, but it wasn't. So,
Oh,
my
I need to
gosh.
watch that. I need to put it to my list, or else I'm going to forget. Because like I'm still in the middle of Below Deck, and I've been just going through them.
Yeah.
I'm almost all the way through 9 seasons of Below Deck.
you got to watch
Amazing.
Hillsong too. Hillsong.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna ask, did
know.
you watch the Hillsong documentary?
No, I haven't watched
rough.
it yet.
It's rough. You got to watch that one too.
I don't think I even created a profile on your Discovery Plus.
Get on it.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Okay, well, before we head off, like, how are your guys' plants doing? Everything's good?
They're not frozen.
Is this a Patreon episode or if you're not on our Patreon, this is basically what the episodes are like.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
if you're at all like on the cusp of like, should I join or should I not? This is pretty much what it would be.
Aside from us having like a drink in our hand and it being 8:00 at night when we record, we're a little bit more
Yeah.
loosey goosey over there, I'd say.
Yeah, it would be a bit more unhinged
Yeah.
for sure. My plants are doing really good. There's a lot of new growth. My Alba Monstera just put out a new leaf and it's already poking out another one. Like the tip is out.
Ooh,
You guys with your
So-
elbows, man.
I know.
Props.
Mine put out a whole ass leaf on my vacation.
Yeah,
That's-
you want to send me a cutting?
Oh,
Just kidding.
beautiful.
Yeah, mine won't have thrips, I promise.
Seriously. That's amazing though. Like your elbow and your tie, Adam, they're freaking huge.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know
They're
what I'm going to
looking
do.
so good.
Really pretty.
You gotta chop and prop and plant it back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just make a big pot.
Yes. I love the way Monstera looks with a full pot. It's so pretty.
Soltech is sending me a light,
Ooh.
aspect light.
Oh,
Amazing.
A pendant. And I thought about putting my Thai constellation on like my dresser because it's like a taller dresser and it's hanging the aspect light above it. But then I'm afraid that the leaves are going to do that thing where they turn upwards, you know?
Oh, they probably would.
And I don't love that look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like when they all face one direction.
Yeah, and I like when you like are looking at the plant, they're facing you like it's like faces, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. That
So I gotta
typically
figure- I gotta figure
happens with it
something out.
being in a big window.
Yeah. And it's getting
how
so big
fun,
now that I'm just
though.
like, oof. Where am I going to put it?
Soltech Solution lights are where it's at.
I know. I was kind of hoping for the track system, but they just said aspects.
The track system looks sick. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I know.
That's awesome.
But yeah.
I mean, my plants are fine. They're doing things. Yeah, they're okay.
They're living life.
I'm excited about plant shopping. I know I talked about this before briefly, but I'm excited to like get out, and I have some things on my list, and I might spend some money this summer. But I do have some things on my wish list, so I'm excited about that.
Are any of those things in your wish list in my collection?
Or mine?
I mean, maybe.
Well, the tie.
What's your wish list? Let's talk about our wish lists.
I gotta pull it up. Well, a tie and an elbow are on it, but I really wanted, well, I don't know if I told you guys this, but I really wanted to get a full big plant. Like, I just want to start big. And I know I always start smaller. But I've been doing that for so long that I feel like I'm at the point where I'm like, it's not rewarding enough. Well, plus I lost my tie, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I also want a gigantic Monstera deliciosa. Like, I just want it like in the corner, living its best life with, you know, maybe a Soltech light.
Just a green one.
Yeah, plain green one.
Yeah.
Is there a Monstera mint or Monstera? Is there?
There's someone there is like a mint sport situation, isn't there?
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone DM'd us pretty much asking us what the plant was, and she was like, I think I'm freaking out because I think I have this giant Monstera mint that was sold to me at a Monstera Deliciosa price or something like that, and it's clearly variegated. Like, it's not a Deliciosa. And I was like, yeah, just from a quick Google search, I think that you got a little winner there, but I'm not sure, you know. Yeah. So those are like the two number one plants that I want, but I want like big plants, you know. I'm not afraid to ask you guys for cuttings. I totally would if like I wanted a cutting. But yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. But my plants are doing okay as of now. Oh, I do have plans to do something kind of crazy. I have a black velvet corm that, because like my black velvet kicked the bucket, it got root rot. And I'm going to plant it in my backyard. Like, I'm going to plant it in the ground and see what it does. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if it got like big and I could just pull it up and pot it up and it would, I doubt that'll happen, but it would be cool to see if it got bigger, like outside. I think that'd be so much fun. It's an experiment.
Yeah. I bet the leaves would be huge.
Yeah, being outside. But then I'm like, I kind of want it in a more full shade area, just because the leaves are sensitive and they would probably burn.
Yeah, full shade probably would be great.
Yeah.
Do you have full shade in your backyard anywhere?
I have a couple spots that are, because we have a pretty tall fence that doesn't it shades it out. So yeah, it would be indirect sun.
Yeah. Ooh, I need to go out and get my Photonia. Okay, I really want to plant outside so bad because the weather seems like it's going to be fine, and we are into May, so like it's not going below like 40. No, it's not going below like 49, 48 for like the next 10 days. I'm like, this is prime planting and it's going to be raining so much. I kind of want to direct sow before I leave for Ireland. Like, I'm kind of tempted.
Do you really? Yeah, I mean, I would say that it's worth a shot, because by the time you get back from Arizona, it's already going to be past that point.
Yeah, like way past. 10 days.
Wait, when do you get back? End of May?
Yeah, like the 22nd, 23rd maybe.
Yeah.
So like I'm basically out of town for like 20 days.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
That's like prime planting time too.
What are you doing with your house plants during this time?
Okay, well the first one is a week It's like 8 days. So I'm just going to make sure everybody has a good drink, and then I'm just going to go. I think it'll be fine. I mean, a week is not. The only thing that I'm a little concerned about is the cabinet, because the cabinet gets thirsty in about like 5 or 6 days. But I've left it for I've let it get thirsty for longer than that. And
I thought about shutting my grow lights off when I was gone because it was getting warmer, and I was like, maybe I just shut them off and it'll slow things down. So you could probably try that. Just not turn the grow lights on the cabinet.
Yeah. But do you think like for 8 days with not really any light at all, I don't know how that would affect them.
Yeah, you might want to move it into like a place where it gets some ambient light. But
which is like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But for that first trip, I'm not going to do anything. And then the second trip, Daniel's going to be home, so he can...
Oh, he's not going to go with you?
No, it's like, traditional jobs. You can't take 2 vacations in a row.
Yeah.
So he is going to be home, and I'll probably just FaceTime with him like halfway through and just have him walk around so I can see everything.
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely going to have to give the cabinet like a full watering, which I'm a little nervous about him doing that. But he knows how to water plants. Like, he's seen me do it so many times, and I'll be on FaceTime with him. Right. But it's just like, I hate inconveniencing him, but it's better to inconvenience him than like call someone to come by my house while he's here. Like, that's weird. So
yeah. You know what you should do? I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
You should come to Chicago on the 21st because it's my birthday.
I should.
No pressure.
I absolutely should drive to your house before I go back to my house.
Yes. And all the way up that way just to go back.
Just to go back, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'll have the dogs. So
So lunch for my dogs.
Yeah. One for each. One for each. Leo's got a lot of meat on him. He's got some weight issues. Like his body, his I feel like he was fixed too early or something. I don't know, but like his, what is it? Metabolism is just not very fast. He doesn't have any testosterone.
Oh, he's a chunky boy.
I know. And when he's super fluffy, like he just looks like very fat, but we can still feel his ribs. He's fine. Yeah. But Cooper is like the Abercrombie and Fitch model of dogs, and Leo is like the Target brand. Just looks wise. Otherwise, he's like perfect. But he kind of, you can tell he's not purebred. He's something. He's something like a cockapoo. He's something.
The A&F documentary, another toxic AF documentary. No pun intended. Did you watch it?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh,
they're horrible.
I knew that company was horrible, but they were really horrible.
And you know what? I'm actually shocked that, well, maybe they were, but was Hollister ever mentioned in that documentary? Yeah. Okay, because Hollister operated pretty much under the exact same business model and pretense. And like, listen, when I'm not saying this to say anything weird about myself, but like I was a thin child. I was, but I've been built like a Latina woman for my whole life. So I have had little booty, little legs, my whole life. And I could not fit into Hollister jeans. They were not like... Oh, yeah, no. I could if I sized up like 5 or 6 sizes. But in my mind, I'm like, well, that means I'm huge. So I never shopped there. Yeah, so it's either. It's just like not made for people with any sort of curves. And maybe it is now. I don't know. I haven't shopped there since I was like... Well, I've never shopped there because I couldn't. So it's just... I just find it so problematic that there was never like a curvy...
I couldn't afford it. I mean, I was curvy my whole life, but I couldn't afford it. I would just walk past... I just remember walking past the stores and it was like... It was a club. I was like, there's a club in there. Yeah. It smells like strong male cologne and the music is loud as that.
So bad. But I had that cologne.
Did
all
you?
of high school. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah, you
of
did.
course.
Oh my god. I hated shopping there though, because like the dressing rooms were just like behind a curtain, and it was so dark. I was like, I literally can't even see my face in the mirror.
Yeah. Because it was a club.
Yeah. Oh god.
I hate the curtain dressing rooms. I really
No,
do.
yeah.
Because
I don't either.
not, and like this might be weird, but like not everybody takes the time to really make sure it's closed. So when you're just walking by, you're looking around, you might look into someone's dressing room on accident and see more than you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or see exactly what you want. Who knows?
Yeah.
Everybody has their kinks.
Everybody has their kinks. I'm not actively trying to see anything. It's just, if it's there, my eyes will go to it.
Okay. Okay, one last thing about dressing rooms, and I think we really have to wrap it up because this is like feature film length. Like,
Yeah, it is.
this is like Marvel movie length, and I have to re-listen to all of this to edit. So
Yeah, you do.
Sorry.
But the Buckle dressing rooms, like that Buckle was what we always shopped in like middle Nebraska. Like that was like
Buckle.
Yeah.
the Buckle. That's where I got my first pair of Doc Martens. Like loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh my
the
God.
dressing rooms, when you're a tall ass person like me, the dressing rooms in the Buckle are like interspersed through shopping, so they're not like in an
Ew.
area. It's like on the sides of the store.
Yeah.
And the door like covered from my shoulders to my knees, and literally like making eye contact, not wearing pants with people just shopping in the store. And I'm just like,
No.
hey,
I
It's
hate
like
How's
my-
it going?
it was the worst. And once they get you in a Buckle dressing room, the sales associates consistently and constantly just bring you more things. Like, ooh, try this. Ooh, try this. And I'm like,
No,
no, I
no,
came in
no,
here
no,
with
no.
what I wanted. Please stop
Yeah.
throwing shit at me.
Yeah.
Try this watch on. That's $800.
Oh my gosh. It's so much pressure as a
Your
sales
knees look a little
associate.
ashy. Here's some lotion.
Yeah.
Like everyone can see everything. I was like behind a 2x4. I'm just like, ooh.
No,
It's the same way with
scary.
bathroom stalls too. My head's just like poking up out of all of them.
Yeah, I know. You're tall.
God.
Tall people problems. I don't have that
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah. Just the cracks in the stalls, it's just why.
Yeah.
It's
Why?
one extra material. It really wouldn't cost much. Anyway, okay.
No.
Well, thank you so much for listening. We talked a little bit about plants, mostly about life. So again, if you like this kind of episode, definitely check out our Patreon because that's pretty much what it is, except there's no plants. No plants. There's a rule. No plants. So yeah, we love ya, and follow us on Instagram to keep updated about our episodes, give us some topics, and I don't know, use our most recent post as a comment board. If there's anything that we talked about today that resonated with you, you can leave a comment there. Leave us a 5-star review, 5 stars only. We are a 5-star club.
We are.
So
Yeah.
I think that's going to be all. So, all of us too. We got to do our personal plugs. I am De La Plants on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all of the things. Nicole is My Clean Leaves on Instagram and YouTube. And Adam is Not Dude on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.
TikTok. Yep.
Tiki taki.
And Nicole still
All
has
right.
not joined us.
No, but I'm one step closer. I'm having the conversations with myself. Currently,
We're in
Considerations.
negotiations.
yeah.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, thanks so much for listening. We will talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Gear Patrol calls their new dive watch the best sub-$500 dive watch. Full stop. Men's Health rated them as the most stylish solar watch in the game. Who we talking about? It's Movement. They're leveling up your gift giving with the sleekest watches you can buy and the biggest deals of the season. Shop 30 to 50% off Movement's innovative California clean watches, jewelry, and accessories with fast free shipping and returns now at mvmt.com. That's mvmt.com.